All right, everyone. So welcome back here to another episode of our female entrepreneur interview series. I'm your host, Melissa Okabe with Also Properties. And today I'm so excited to welcome our guest, Bree Goldwater. She is the owner and the founder of Human Landscapers. Bree started this company back in 1999 as the first bikini waxing only shop in the country. Since then, she's opened 2 locations in Las Vegas and the world famous Manhattan Beach. And she also teaches, her proprietary style of waxing to some of the top hotels and spas in the nation. So please help me in welcoming today's guest, Bree Goldwater.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that intro. Thank you.
Absolutely, Bree. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's really, it's great to be here. So thank you.
Perfect. Well, let's go ahead and get started. We'd love to hear a little bit more about you, about your background. I know you have a lot of interesting and colorful experiences.
Yes, it's definitely, that's when I think about sometimes my, just from, middle school, elementary, high school, to now, I'm like, wow, it was pretty colorful. You're right. It has been quite the adventure, I would say. And honestly, I've been with my husband and my business partner, co-owner, Jason, for 27 years. So a very large portion of my life has been that adventure with him as well. And so, it's been a wild ride, and definitely, as everybody knows, just with as being an entrepreneur, that's definitely can get very messy, and it can get very scary and ugly, and but then there's all the wonderful freedoms that go with it, and flexibility, and really paving your own path.
Definitely. Absolutely. And Bree, how did you, come up with the idea of Human Landscapers, the waxing business in general?
Well, definitely when it comes to any of the creation of the idea, it's absolutely my husband 100%. I got into this industry, into the beauty industry, because I'd had really bad skin growing up, and had dealt with a lot of acne and breakouts, and really just wanted to once and for all learn the science of our skin and learn how to help people. I was able to learn about my own and kind of correct a lot of it, and so I wanted to help others, and it kind of that's what got me to school. And then in school, I found that I'm a fast mover, a fast talker, and I'm, very constantly, going and constantly doing. And what I found with waxing, it's amazing how much it just filled me up with this instant gratification. Skin is wonderful, and facials and helping people with their skin, it's great, but it takes a long time, and you have to have a lot of patience. And a lot of times we, especially women, I feel like, we're always on the go, and, we want things done yesterday. And so with waxing, you walk in, with hair, and within 10 minutes, basically it's gone. And it's just this instant, canvas of just hair free. So that was very intriguing to me in school. And then, the idea was born, honestly, absolutely. My husband, it started as box. And then later it was box being, just basically specializing in bikini in that region. And that is a euphemism for female genitals. It was a 1970s, 70s term. Yes.
I did not know that.
You know that? Okay. Well, a little tidbit. Very important fact.
Yes.
And so honestly, it was basically kind of, it honestly was pretty wild. It was a joke a long time back when my husband was in high school, and he used that term, and he said, how crazy would that be to have it was a bikini wax shop, and to call it Box and name it Box. And so this was born like long before, and so but yes, that is what it was, like this old school 1970s term. And so a lot of people didn't know that that's what it was when it was born, but anyhow, so yeah, so then the idea was born, and I would specialize in the bikini area. And then later, not too much later, but men started calling and wanting this service. And this was we started 22 years ago. So this was long before, the craze of any of this going on,
Right.
and so it's also quite a challenging thing to be a trailblazer, in an industry that really was inside of a salon. This industry it was always in a salon, so to take it out of that. So anyhow, it just started. So then a couple, maybe a year, 2 years later, Sack and Crack was born. And that is our male version of a Brazilian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Very cool.
because it was just simple, easy to remember, and it is what it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I was like, hence the second
Yeah.
crack. Got it. I was like, I know this logo.
Yes. Human landscapers, and then yes, home of Sack and Crack. Yes. Very
Funny. Oh my
popular
gosh.
service.
That's awesome. And speaking of your branding, I do love like the logo is very catchy. And it's, it's a perfect with the brand itself. Can you talk to me a little bit about, where you came up with the logo and how that all came about too?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So, in the beginning days, like a lot of, how we've always done this service, how I've always, waxed. I mean, it's obviously got to be the front and the back. So you have to have everything clean. And so, our logo of Mo, his name is Mo. Um, and so Mo being on all fours, is it's showing the position that it's what it's going to be, and then with the flower coming out of his backside is, the landscaping part of what we do, and the lawnmower of top, mowing the lawn. And so very very crafty, that is my husband, and just says it like it is, so that the goal had always been is, take something that's kind of more difficult to talk about, or something that's more uncomfortable to get done. I mean, we are dealing with naked bodies, we are dealing with your genitals, we are dealing with things that people aren't open about and don't talk about. And so we're able to bring this, to light and have a conversation on it and make it not a big deal,
Right.
Very important.
Very cool. Yeah. And Bree, I would actually love to talk a little bit more about trailblazing too. I know you had mentioned earlier, you were a trailblazer in the industry. So can you tell me a little bit about that journey? How did that go when you guys were kind of taking it outside of what it used to be and creating something new in this new path?
So, yes, that was quite a challenge, I will say. It was so different. I mean, we were in Las Vegas, which is quite a already kind of racy, tawdry place. Of course, we all know Sin City. And so, and even there we thought, it just is amazing how, just because it wasn't so mainstream, there's still this like kind of like, quiet, like in the, when people would book an appointment, they'd be in the break room, kind of like whispering into the phone when they're calling to book an appointment with us. So, so it was definitely, a challenge to be, hey, we're a bikini wax shop. Like this is, what we do. We are, landscaping the body. We are, specializing the genitals. We were very blessed to get a lot of great press in the beginning. We worked with a lot of the big hotels, from like sort of fairly early on, I would say, with their spas and their waxers. And so, we were able to we were featured on the Travel Channel for a good long time. So, and it was a really popular spot. So it was just all this press and all this talk and all this word of mouth in a place that international travelers come in
Oh,
and out,
yeah.
you coming in for conventions, the word was really able to spread. And this was, before social media, long before social media,
Right.
so yeah, very not without its challenges for sure. It was uh but we just kept pressing on, luckily. And it was obvious that it it must be something people want, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And then what was it like, opening your second location too, coming, to Manhattan Beach and opening that up? Was it a huge challenge? Was it pretty easy because you already had the business template?
Right. No, great question. It was Manhattan Beach was quite conservative. I mean, I don't know. They are pretty far. There is quite a difference, of course. It's definitely very family friendly and, small town feel and small community. And then you're in Las Vegas and it's international and it's,
Mm.
so big difference there. But I will say, like, it was pretty, people accepted us, with open arms. It was pretty funny when we opened in downtown Manhattan Beach, right in the heart of downtown. And
Mhm.
uh, just one day when they were redoing the awnings for the building we were in, so we got the opportunity, which normally something that would be really costly to
Mhm.
do your own awning. They went ahead and did them for us, and we turned in our logo and all that. And they wanted them all to be proportionate sizes, the logos. Well, we thought it would be like a normal size, and all of a sudden, like, it's going up for the day, and they're working on it. And there literally were like cars stopping, taking photos, people walking by across the street taking photos. It was so big. It was
Oh,
blown up so large. It was hysterical. And we're like, wow, well, okay. At that point, that was when, some residents of Manhattan Beach were not so happy, I would say,
oh.
because it was a little loud. It wasn't super discreet. And so we were kind of like, yeah, we're here.
You made a splash.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was great. But all in all, no, we've been received with open, loving arms, and it's all just been word of mouth, and it's amazing how fast it travels here, and I've been able to get involved with a lot of community events, like through our kids in the schools, like, doing little pop up things, and so it's been great.
Definitely. Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. And I was going to ask you too, because I remember at, the August Babes Who Hustle event, you
Yes.
guys did a really cool, it was kind of a subtle thing with the nose, right? It's a little waxing of the nose.
Yes.
Can you talk about that maybe a little too and some of the other
Yes.
services? Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And did you get yours done, by the way? You
I
did.
didn't that
I
night.
did.
I was running
You did
around.
not.
So I know.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you'll have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is kind of our it's a signature thing that we've been doing for, oh my gosh, probably like 15 years now. I think it started with just a charity event we had done at our house, and we just wanted to be able to
Mm.
also, give something back of what our business does, as we're showcasing all these other businesses,
Yeah.
and so it's just it's a little like mini pop-up nostril waxing station. We do, it's just always been like the inside edges of your nose, and then I always do one over the top and gets the little blackheads and it's like a little
Ah,
modern day Biore strip. It's pretty
okay.
awesome.
Cool.
And I actually, that one I learned, I actually started waxing myself when I was 11. I started waxing my upper lip
Wow.
and the top of my nose, because when you're Russian Romanian Jew, we have a lot of hair. We're blessed with great hair, but
Yes.
it also lands everywhere else you don't want it. So yeah, so having a full on mustache at 11, not super hot, not cute. So
Yeah,
yeah,
cool.
so our nostril waxing station, it's a big hit, and it just is a great way for people to just kind of you know I obviously can't take bikini waxing on the road,
Yeah.
so this is a great way for people to get to feel our wax, box wax,
Mm.
which is our own proprietary blend, and then they're able to experience how different it is from other things out there in the market, and then it's practically painless. So I
Mhm.
want people to understand that it doesn't have to be maybe what they've seen on, social media or what they've watched on YouTube videos that seem horrifying, and then it also helps to cultivate a connection with their waxer or with that waxer doing the pop-up. And it's such a, because, waxing is an intimate thing, whether I'm doing somebody's brows or, their bikini, it doesn't matter. And so, yeah, so that is a popular thing that we like to take on the road to different events.
Very cool. Yeah. And it was super unique. I was like, oh, and I need to come and see you for that.
Yes.
So I'll try it out. That's great.
Yeah.
And Bree, in terms of your business and staying inspired, what would you say, keeps you inspired each and every day?
Well, I'm really into health and wellness at a level that's probably not very normal. I take things a little, I read a lot, I watch a lot of lectures. I have a very well-rounded sense of like, what we put in our bodies. And I have been this passionate for, since I was 16 years old. So
wow.
Yeah, what is that? 36 years, a long time. So what keeps me inspired, I think, is just constantly educating myself. And because when I do that and I fill myself up, all I want to do is, I have a captive audience laying there for 30 minutes on the table minimum, daily, and 8, 10, 15 of them. And so I want to, in a sense, like, inspire myself through education and growth. And then I have this body on the table that I want to do the same for. So I would say that that's kind of what it's like, this full circle kind of thing. Absolutely. And most of my clients would probably say that they walk out like, wow, this was more than a wax. And that's what I always want. And that's what I teach with our waxers as well. We're giving more than just a wax.
Definitely. Oh, wow. Yeah. I love that. That's so inspiring.
Thank you.
Definitely. Yeah, I think I definitely am on the same page as you. I love learning new things. I love learning about other people. And I think it's incredible that you read, you listen to different lectures, and then you're able to share that with your clients too.
Thank you. Agreed. Yeah. And it just depends, everybody's got their thing, what lights them up,
Yeah.
right? Like whatever subject, that what is it that lights you up? What's your subject of choice?
Yeah, personally, I really love yoga. I love health and wellness too. So
yeah, and it's great because it's like, it's self-serving too. We don't tend to be selfish enough, and we look at being selfish as like a negative. And yet it's so important. If we can fill ourselves up, then we can impart and fill up others.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, that work-life balance is really important.
Absolutely.
Self-care. Yeah. Wow. And so, yeah, Bree, like, you mentioned you are a mother, as well as, you have an amazing husband and business partner. But how do you juggle all that, being mom, being wife, being business owner? It's a lot.
Yes, it is. Yes. I'm sorry. Earlier, my son walked in. I apologize. In the middle, because he has to visit the pets and do his rounds to visit the pets daily.
Oh, nice.
So quick snapshot there. That is probably one of the toughest things, honestly. I think I used to be quite guilty of being more workaholic and putting work first before my family, which is, a definite no-no. But so learning, it took me years. I mean, I'm almost 50, and I would say probably over the last maybe only 5 years, so that's not that long, to be in business for almost 22, and to have just learned maybe over the last 5 years, like, wait a minute, I'm not going to get this time back. And so I've learned that, by working on being present, and that's like a moment to moment task for me. Like, it's like as if my mind just kind of starts to go up, like, nope, get back to here. Yep. Nope, get back to here. Yeah. So it's a constant struggle, but I've gotten better about ending my day at a certain time, because that way I can come home and get dinner going at a normal hour. not just taking one more person, and this might be helpful for others out there that,
Yeah.
because it's translated into, whatever career somebody has, there's
Yeah.
always going to be one more thing. And especially for, like we're blessed humans. We are all very, very blessed humans. And,
Mhm.
we all have these amazing gifts, and we have these gifts to attract good stuff, right? Good
Yeah.
business, um, you know, uh, just good. Like it's this continual energy and motion. And so,
Mhm.
I have to just keep reminding myself that it's all there. It's always going to be there. It's never going to go away. So the more I actually work on and settle into balance, the more flow things
Yeah,
have. If that makes
definitely.
sense.
It does. And
Okay.
it's really beautifully said. I love that you said, the energy is in motion and we are attracting in, right? As what we give. And if we're giving like from the heart, which you were clearly doing. I love that so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So yeah, it's very much an abundance mindset, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Exactly. And so once we kind of learn and recognize, I guess, more than anything, that there's always abundance. It's just
Mhm.
and it's not this chasing that, oh, I have to do one more. Oh, I have to do, I have more and more and more. Like, no, 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 no. Just settle in. It'll all just be there.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Very cool. um, Actually, on that note too, um, is there anything that you have, read or listened to that has maybe helped you, remember that in your business or in your life? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I went through a period of time, probably a good 10 years, that, I filled up on all those, on these self-help type of books,
Yeah.
and it's interesting if I look at my book list in Audible, it's kind of funny, like tracking where I was at however many years ago and what kind of as
Mm.
I climb up the
Yes.
list to like the current, kind of the theme of what they look like and what I was reading and what I was into. And I would say, Power of Now has been by Eckhart Tolle has been one of my favorites. It's
Mhm.
an amazing one. The Path is happens to be a book. I don't remember the author, but what the gist of it is, I read it years ago and it made a huge impact, just on me. It's all about these ancient Chinese philosophers of,
Mm.
thousands of years ago, and what they would have said to today's world, how they would have
Oh,
applied their philosophies into today's world. It was so well put, and it was fantastic. It's called The Path.
the
And I
path.
found it
Okay.
at this great little men's shop that's in Hermosa that we love, called Wicked.
Okay.
And they just always have like the greatest little gifts. And they have this awesome little book section that has kind of books that are like off the beaten path that you don't find just everywhere.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, this was a great find. So
Ooh,
yeah, so
okay.
yeah, definitely like in those genre. Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm a huge
Mhm.
fan of like the brain, and
Yes.
have read a lot on that to understand more how my brain works, how my kids' brains work. So
Mm.
more understanding on that allowed me to just better understand my patterns of behavior and to help,
Mhm.
change that. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. So these have been some really helpful things along the way.
Absolutely. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't heard the path yet. The other two I have read too, and they're awesome. But
Yes.
yeah, I
Oh,
have to go
good.
find this book now.
Okay. And Brene Brown, that was one who I used to read. Like I think when I
Ah,
was more in, probably more in like suffrage, when I would just be in
okay.
this difficult state where I couldn't get out of my own way. Which
Mhm.
happens a lot for us, that we're just kind of um, digging a hole, I guess, so to speak. And
Mhm.
Brene Brown's books, and her TED talks, and I mean, just really, really great too.
Awesome. Very
Yeah.
cool. Perfect. And Bree, you had mentioned as well that, sometimes we are the ones that could possibly get in our own way, maybe even more so rather than anything else from the outside. What would you recommend to, fellow female entrepreneurs if they're maybe facing that right now or they're kind of experiencing that?
Yeah, no, great question. I mean, I always try to bring myself back to my present moment.
Mhm.
And, because a lot of times when we're in our own way, we're future casting or catastrophizing.
Yeah.
And so it's being more in this space of in the present moment. Okay, I can connect with my breath. I can
Mm.
connect with the right here, right now, and nothing has happened yet.
Mhm.
And so that's a really helpful one. And then there's two other things that I adopted from. So my husband and I went through this emotional intelligence program about 10 years ago,
Oh,
and it was a
cool.
really big part of our lives. Actually, we would tell our kids that we're going to become better parents. We're going to like parent school basically.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like human school. And just it was based on old philosophies, been around for a really long time, and two
Mm.
really really helpful things, amongst many other things that we learned there, but that I use in like this scenario of like kind of getting out of our own way is, one of them is when you're feeling like in this stuck space and you just can't
Mhm.
even move forward, like taking a step forward, or it feels impossible. We would do, and like we're feeling triggered or something, we
Yeah.
do this little thing called shift, and we would just do this little like this little move. And I actually teach my clients that, like when they're struggling, and because we all get in our own way and can't see our way out. And
Mhm.
that was really helpful. Along with the other thing was, it's all made up. Basically,
Mm.
these things in our mind, our brain, it's made up. It's not real. And so that those two are kind of like my go-tos, and that
Oh,
and
wow.
presence. Yeah.
Definitely. I love this one.
Yeah, it's like doing this act, all of a sudden you can disrupt the moment and get out of the way. And
Mm.
so, and usually when we're in the way, we're stopping flow. And so what, those little things that I've done, that little move, like, helps to just let go for a second, and just kind of like just let it be and get out of the way so that flow can happen, because we're just trying to we're controlling or we're stopping it.
Definitely. Yes, absolutely. I that really resonates in terms of letting the energy flow again, and the movement, right? With the
Yes.
breath or physical movement definitely helps with that.
Yes, and especially with yoga, since you're, big fan of yoga, like you, yeah, like that's so, so helpful.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
And
So
with
many good
females,
pearls of wisdom here.
oh, good. Why, thank you. Good. I'm glad. And with females, since, that's what we're mainly like kind of, addressing here. We, as females, we tend to, this is like, we suffer from this stuff a lot, because we're
Mhm.
big, we do a lot. We do a lot of tasks, and we multitask, and, we have a lot on our plates, and we're trying to accomplish a lot.
That's
We're
true.
powerhouses. Women are just freaking powerhouses,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool. And Bree, has there been any advice that you've been given, throughout your 20 years in business, that has really like stuck with you and impacted you?
Yeah, no, great question. I would say probably, probably one of the most, uh, probably the biggest one, or that's made the most impact, um, honestly, would come from my husband, which you can only imagine being a husband and wife team, raising kids, having a business together, and then it being a female driven business, because at the end of the day, it's the females, it's all females that we wax.
Mhm.
And so, we obviously had a lot of not seeing eye to eye a lot of times. But yet, one of the big pearls of wisdom that he's always lent is be yourself. Like, don't try to be someone else. And it
Yeah.
took me a long time to actually, and I'm still working on it, but to own that, to just like own who I am. And sometimes, I mean, he would say, like, I can be a hot mess sometimes because I'm trying to do too many things because I have this big goal. Like, I want to do a lot. I'm working on a lot of projects. I want to accomplish a lot. And I know that I'm not alone in this. And there's a lot of women, and men, of course, too, that are out there. And it was just, and he's always like, just be who you are. And the more you settle into your ownership of you, then it'll flow better instead of being so frustrated that or trying to be something else, that I'm not trying to be some big, some corporate or like, some high powered wearing some big, title type of person. It's not who I am. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. No, it definitely does. And that's really beautifully said too. It's a good reminder that, we all have our authentic gifts, and that does flow, right? It flows much easier when we're just being real. We're being ourselves.
Very well put. Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's so true. Yeah. And sometimes we get caught up in the doing of things, or like just as an entrepreneur, I mean, there's so many things to do, and it's challenging to get, to just be in our authentic self. Yeah.
Love it. And speaking of that too, Bree, if you were to describe your authentic self, let's say in, a sentence or a few words, what would that be?
Wow. Let's see. Definitely caring and thoughtful. Unique, very unique. I just, what comes to mind when I think about what my authentic self is, I show it on such a regular basis with my clients because, as humans, we all like, when you're in an intimate setting and I'm waxing, and it's like that whole thing of getting, the hairdresser, like it's therapy, right? That's what it tends to be. And so I'll hear, I guess it's partially the mom in me and partially just the caretaker in me. And all I want to do is thoughtfully, help others. And so whether it be a suggestion on a nutrient type of thing, or lending to gut health is a big subject I love, or in the world of plant medicines is a huge subject I love. And so it's all these different avenues, self-work, parenting, it might be a book, like and it happens all the time that we're done and they're getting out their phone and putting in their notes like the different things. Or I'll say, and I can't even count at this point how many times I'll say, oh, okay, I'm gonna text you later. And I make a little mental note and I save a little spot in my brain to send them this, that, and the other. And I used to think that everybody did this. Like, doesn't everybody just take this kind of time and do this? And I know that I kind of take it to a level that is beyond. And that is truly, I used to get frustrated at myself, but I can't help it. It's just who I am. And and so I'm learning how to just be in that and own that, and just and really I love it.
That's so cool. Absolutely. Yeah, you seem just so giving, and I just want to be your client because of that now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it's funny because I do the same with my kids. My daughter was in earlier today. I like pretty much have to wax my whole family, of course, because we're a hairy family. And so I had to quickly, before she was going back up to school and waxing, she's like, gosh, like you're so impatient, and so it's like I am so, I do this all for my clients. Then when it comes to like my family, I still am giving them all these little tidbits of what to take internally and how to help this, that, and the other, but I do it in a different way that's not quite as soft as I do with my clients. Yeah,
Oh, that's
funny.
funny. Yeah, I was just going to say there too, Bree. Yeah, I love, I love that your authenticity comes through, even in our chat here. Like some genuine laughs. The vibe is really, really cool. It's flowing.
Thank you.
And I would imagine too, right? Like you being authentic, and really taking ownership of that, it seems to be able to give space, right, to the other people that you're interacting with to be authentic and be real too. So
Absolutely.
very cool.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. And it's it's always this like, I know that I'm unique in that in a sense, but I will say, that's always what I'm looking for in our waxers as well,
Mhm.
who have worked in our different locations, or who are part of who are wanting to come and open
Yeah.
a tiny shop or something like that. Like it's like it's just, I think it's born out of this. It never should be just waxing.
Mm.
It's more like you're leaving with something more.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Bree, do you have any last, pieces of advice? You've given so much already. Love it. But any other kind of final last things you would love to share with the audience today?
Let's see. I know I didn't touch too much on one of our projects that we're working on right now, that it's kind of been something that's really been close to our hearts, in how difficult entrepreneurship has been, how difficult, like, starting a business, running a business, sustaining a business, and then
Mhm.
dealing with customers. It's not just a product, it's a service. um, and we've come up with this idea of tiny shops where
Mm.
we can empower other females to own their own shop, and
Oh,
they
cool.
can work under the branding that we have, all the vehicles that have already been set in place.
Mm.
The training, it's a very formulaic process that is just really with our amazing products, post wax and ingrown and box wax,
Wow, nice.
and so that they can offer this amazing service, but then be empowered to actually, like, take ownership of their life
Mm.
and ownership of their, and give them something that, the beauty industry is kind of like that. Being an esthetician or being a cosmetologist is, that old school thing. I always think of Grease and Beauty School Dropout, that song. Such a
Oh.
song. And it's unfortunate that that's kind of,
Mm.
what it started as, is like, oh, if you couldn't make it in college, then you go to beauty school. Well, this is such a great career path for moms, and
Mhm.
and those who like to take care of people. And so really, it's really special to our heart to be able to, you know somebody who has interest in this, to kind of take them under our wing and, like, listen, we want to provide and guide and
Mm.
pave the way, and you get to do this. Like, it's really awesome. So just
Oh,
wanted to
nice.
definitely touch on that a little bit, that it's very cool because we've done all the hard work and all the
Ah.
sweat, blood, sweat, and tears, to create what we've created. Now it's just like, can put it in the hands of women all over the
Mm.
world, honestly, because
Wow.
hair removal is not going anywhere. It's been around
Mhm.
for thousands of years.
Right, right. Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. And you're giving opportunity, right, to other people that way.
Yes, yes, exactly. And it feels, it just isn't, I don't know. I feel like if you're, you could, with doing any industry, I mean, you have to, you got
Mhm.
to take all the lumps and all the learnings, and it's really scary and it's intimidating.
Yeah.
And we kind of have thought all that stuff out. It's not that it's not going to be free of, some challenges, but then we're building this support system. And that's, to be able to have that, oh my gosh, I mean, really spectacular.
Yeah, that's a huge, right? Like advanced kind of step, right? They don't have to go through all of the things that you had to learn along the way.
Right, exactly. And so we're really excited about that, and growing that kind of like growing this family. It's very cool, and one by one, it's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. Great. Is that rolling out right away, or
we've been in the process of it? So so we're just we do that with Las Vegas, with one of them, and it's and we're just we're taking on people little by little, and in that process of right now working on tightening up the training program, so that it's just much more seamless. We've been doing YouTube videos on our YouTube channel for training videos that are just very detailed, of all the steps that has made it great.
Exciting. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Perfect. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you again, Bree. This has been just such a great conversation. I always love too that you kind of never know where it's going to go, and that's the beauty of it, right?
Yes, I love it. I was nervous in the beginning, and it's really nice how it's just a wonderful. Yeah, it's great. It's really it's always wonderful to talk to another fellow entrepreneur and just really just talking shop on all the stuff that in life, it's all just life, isn't it? It's a snapshot of life.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. Thank you. It's been very, very cool. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. And then finally, Bree, please tell our audience where they can find you online, in store, all of that, please.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. So bikiniwaxing.com is our website, and you can actually, on one part are the services, and on the other, you can click for products and just have them shipped direct to you. So that's bikiniwaxing.com, and then our YouTube channel. And that's just some, it's all about training. It's, I think our travel channel shoot is on there. But it's just, just each body part individual, very specific. And then our Instagram, Human Landscapers, is a lot of fun. There's some great little nuggets throughout our Instagram. That's a lot of fun. I think that's
perfect.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Bree. And it was so great. It was an amazing conversation. I love how it just organically flowed.
Thank you. Me as well. I greatly appreciate it. It was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll see you soon. I'm going to come make an appointment.
All right. Good. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.